stamping friends, welcome to the Joyous Stamping with Rachel. I'm Rachael Coon and it's Fun Fold Friday. Today we'll be making an easel type card using the Jar of Flowers stamp set. Go ahead and hold while I flip and grab your supplies. All right, so today's card is really fun. And in fact, I found this one on Facebook and had a beautiful photo to it. And I went to go click on it and it had no instructions at all. And so I had to look at it and kind of dissect it and figure out the measurements for you guys. And I have it, look at this. This is my little sketch of how I had to figure it out and cross things off. I have that all on my blog. So when we're done, you can hop over there and get those measurements on there. But this one's really fun because it has this centerpiece that is the easel, and we use that cute little sunflower to help prop it up. I've used 2 stamp sets for this one. We use the Jar of Flowers, and I use the Celebration Tidings. I use the Always Grateful from this one. Make sure you guys comment on today's live. You might be the lucky winner of the card we make today. All right, so the first thing you always do is stamp. And I have 2 different sizes of Whisper White. So the bigger one is going to be our center one. And we're going to stamp on the bottom of that one. Add our foam mat to it so that way it stamps nice and equally. I use our Early Espresso for our ink of choice. And I put it at the very bottom, the Always Grateful. Stamp that up. And we'll go right about there and press down and lift up. And that looks nice. So we don't have to flip it. Our next part we want to stamp is our piece of paper that will be in the center. And for that one, I use the Granny Apple Green and the Early Espresso. I usually use my Memento black ink when I'm using blends, but because our inks are not alcohol-based, you can go ahead and use these as well with our blends, our regular colored inks. And I just really like the way the sunflowers looked when they had the Early Espresso. So here's our sunflowers right here. I've inked it up and I'm going to line it up just over our stem of flowers. I'll press down and there we go. That is all the stamping except for our little sunflower. Make sure you have a scrap piece of paper and just make a little sunflower for the inside and fussy cut it out. I'm going to give you a couple quick tips for coloring this one. Again, I use light first when I do my blends, and you're just going to go over your stems and color that in. You can either use the smaller one for this one because it's littler. So you'll do that, and then also I have this green piece up here. And you'll color this one in, and then you'll go back over it on with some of the dark Granny Apple. Let's show you that a little bit. And then I like to go over it sometimes even again after I use my dark, and I blend it with that light color. And sometimes you have to let it dry and look at it and see if you want to add any more layers or shading to it, kind of like that. There we go. Then we have our sunflowers, of course. So I used my light Daffodil Delight and my brush tip. And this one I'm kind of messy with, and I just kind of go in and out with it. And I like to leave some of my sunflower tips white. I know, crazy. I then go ahead and get my dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to just go around the center part of this. Just around and give that extra coloring there. If it looks good, you can leave it. If you want to, go ahead and go over it again with your light. Then we would do the center with our crumb cake. And you just, the light one. And then we'd use our dark. And I just go ahead and pick a side. I just add a little bit of darkness to it. And then I did use the light crumb cake for these little sprigs right here. So that side and over here as well. And then I used our light seaside spray for some of the accent flowers. I even took this one in the top and colored it. This one and these little guys over here. You'll just color those in and then go back through with the dark. If you're new to the blends, they can be really fun, but sometimes you just have to practice. Go get some of those spots there. All right, so by the magic of camera, when we're all done, it would look something like that. Isn't that awesome? And super pretty. I love the way that looked. I even added, or will add, some Wink of Stella here in the center. All right, next is our putting it together. This is the trickiest part, probably, but the best part as well. We'll move our pieces aside. You want to, first, let me show you how I cut this. It's our regular card base, which is the 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. Then I took it to my trimmer and I measured 1 1/4 over, and then I went up to my score line, and I did that on both sides. Then I folded these down like that, and I put it through my trimmer again, and I made another score mark right here. See that? That's for our easel part. So that way, and that's right in the middle. That measurement is 2 1/8. And that will give us our easel card. So before we glue anything down on this part, we need to glue down our center white piece of paper. We're going to grab our liquid glue and give us some wiggle. Make sure you guys comment if you want this card. I really want to send it to one of you. So I'm so glad you're here, but say hi or tell me something about this card that either you've made it before or you can't wait to try to make this one. All right. So we're going to line it up right there, and then we will use some adhesive and close up these sides. You just need about a strip from score to end. And then when we line these ones up though, we're going to go to the corner first and press it up. So line it up at the bottom of your cardstock base and press it up. We're going to use our bone folder to get that nice and crisp up there. Then we're going to go ahead and add our DSP. I use the In Good Taste DSP, which you know is one of my favorite ones. And when we do this one, you want to make sure to line up your edge over here along with this white edge, so it kind of looks like one continuous piece. But you want to have some border on this side right here. So I'm going to use my finger as a guide. I'm going to lay it down. There we go. Same with this one. I'm going to line it up with that bottom whisper white. Go to our top and press it down. That looks awesome. Super excited. All right, next we need to adhere our bumblebee with our beautiful jar of flowers we've done already. Just like that. We'll add some glue and flip it over. All right. Then, for the next part, what we need to do, you see we only want glue on this side. So you can either do half glue on this side here, or, excuse me, shake ya. You can use our Stampin' Seal Plus and just have it go a little bit on there. We want to make sure we leave our borders empty because those will not be glued. And then we're going to line it up. And we're going to try to line it up so it looks like it matches with our DSP on those ends. So it looks like a continual card. Lastly, all we have to do is then fold that up like there and use our sunflower. And it has a dimensional on the back. I'm going to go ahead and take off that dimensional. And we're going to set it right there. I said lastly, I still have some embellishing to do. Let me do that real quick with you guys. I use these really cute pearls. I used to use pearls all the time, and I hardly do anymore. But they look so pretty with this card. So I'm going to use the littlest ones, and we're going to put them on our flower right here. And I'm going to put one up here with these flowers. Just kind of let it hang. Like that one. I think lost its backing. Let me get a new one. There we go. Right up there. And then I'm also going to put one down here on the bottom. Good to go next to our Always Grateful. I told you I used some Wink of Stella. You always have to have Wink of Stella when you have flowers, right? That should be a rule. And I just went in the center. I squeeze it and let that come out. Right there. Perfect. Lastly, I've tied a little cute baby bow with my bumblebee ribbon. And I'm going to go ahead and glue dot that on. We'll put it there in the center and squish it. And then add it to our bouquet. Just like that. All right, you guys, that's it for this fun full today. Isn't that awesome? I love it. And this is one of my favorites so far. I hope you guys have had a fun time watching and try this fun full today. Have a great weekend, everyone. Happy stamping. Bye.